The Brooks Glycerin 23 fixes a few things up front, but the two things that held it back in a previous version are still there for me. The Glycerin 23 is one of Brooks' neutral max cushion daily trainers, built for easy miles, long runs and recovery runs. Now with a more forgiving forefoot and smoother transitions. The updates are very much evolutionary rather than revolutionary. It has a slightly bouncier forefoot, 2mm more forefoot cushioning and a slightly cleaner transition. Honestly though, it keeps a heel-led rear-loaded personality and a weight bump that make it a harder shoe for me to reach for. Even though I know plenty of runners in a certain segment are still really going to enjoy it. This one was released in February earlier this year, and I did put out my review on the blog as soon as it was released. I just hadn't got around to putting the video together. So here it is for anyone who is looking to buy the Glycerin 23. Let's kick off with those key specifications. They cost $175. I will let you know by the end of this review if I think they're worth that price tag. They weigh 10.7 ounces or 303 grams. That's for a size US men's 9, my pair. They have a drop of 8mm. That's 38mm under the heel and 30mm under the forefoot. Brooks has added 2mm to the forefoot, taking that 10mm drop down to 8mm. The upper is using a triple jacquard warp knit engineered mesh, and the midsole has a nitrogen-infused DNA tuned midsole foam. It's a dual cell concept, larger heel cells for impact absorption, and smaller forefoot cells for more explosive toe takeoff. The outsole has a redesigned rubber layout aimed at better grip on wet surfaces. When it comes to sizing and fit, they're very much true to size in US sizing. Go with your usual Brooks size, you should be happy with that. Note they do feel a little bit more snug, but that's intentional. You do want a closer fit when you have a more bulky shoe like this. It just helps keep your foot locked in when you're running. With that said, there is a little bit of extra snugness in the midfoot. So if you know you have wide feet, I'd recommend going the wide version first. And step-in comfort is crazy nice. As you can tell just by looking at this thing, there's so much padding around the collars and the heel counter, way more than the average shoe. And that's really where the focus of the Glycerin is, max comfort. If you're enjoying this review so far, please give the video a like and stick around because there's a lot more to come. Also consider subscribing to the channel for more honest shoe reviews just like this one. And if you've had any experience with the Glycerin 23, I'd love to hear it, good or bad, doesn't matter to me. Please just be absolutely honest. It's really going to help others who are looking to buy this shoe decide whether or not it's going to be the best max cushion daily trainer for them. And don't worry, I reply to every comment, so your time will not be wasted. Promise. Okay, moving on to my performance review. I'm going to start by talking about the ride and the geometry of this midsole, because one affects the other. Now, this one does use the same foam, but it feels smoother in its transitions. Now, I put that down to the extra 2mm at the forefoot, but also this little wedge at the heel. It just makes those heel landings feel that little bit smoother, and the transition after flex to toe off feels much smoother, and that means it is a better shoe for running longer distances. It just feels more efficient. The ride character is still very much heel balanced. So if you are a heel striker, you're going to absolutely love how these feel. And even though the drop has changed from 10mm down to 8mm, it still has that same character. Now, that's not for me. I'm not a huge fan of heel striking when I run. I just prefer to land more towards my forefoot. That just feels more natural to me, and that's how I like to run. But lots of people heel strike, so you're really going to appreciate that. The DNA tuned midsole definitely feels better to me now. Before, in the previous version, it felt a little bit flat at the forefoot. There just wasn't enough foam under there, and it just didn't really have the response I wanted on toe takeoff. And that's another reason it's just not tuned for forefoot strikers or midfoot strikers. But now they've added 2mm under the forefoot, and it feels much better, much smoother, there's a little bit more response and bounce at the forefoot. So that's definitely an improvement. That said, this is not a pace pusher. This is very much a slow running shoe. So it's really for anyone who wants to get weekly mileage in. Maybe you need a shoe for recovery runs, longer distance runs. Maybe you're training for a marathon, or just general lifestyle shoe with lots of protection underfoot. That's where this one performs best. It's not a tempo shoe. There are much better running shoes out there that cost less, that perform much better if you are looking for a speed training shoe for tempo runs and just picking up the pace. This is for casual jogging, newer runners, or just anyone who needs a protective shoe to get base mileage. When it comes to stability, this is of course a neutral running shoe. There's no real stability features to speak of, but actually it feels relatively stable considering the high stack height and all the cushioning underfoot. So I think heavier runners are really going to appreciate that. Now, I do know this is a popular pick for heavier runners just because of all that protection and cushioning underfoot, and for heel strikers as well, when it's going to be a lot of force at the rear of the shoe. So having a shoe that feels quite stable when you've got all that cushioning and bias towards a heel is only a good thing in a daily trainer like this. The triple jacquard warp knit upper is very soft, it's very durable, also runs very hot. It's triple layer, so breathability is not very good. If you're going to be running in very hot conditions, these are not going to be for you. Your feet are going to heat up and you might end up getting rubbing points within the shoe because of that. When it comes to the outsole, I have no complaints there. Traction has been very good and durability is holding up really well as well. And then there's the weight. It is heavier than the previous version by 0.4 of an ounce. Doesn't sound like much, but I actually feel it. The previous version already felt heavy to me. It just felt a bit blocky and just a little bit too big on my feet. Just doesn't feel great to me on the run. Again, heavier runners are going to get a different experience, and I really think that's who this one is better tailored to. If you're wondering how this one performs against the competition in terms of the Max Cushion Daily Trainer category, follow that link up there. That's going to take you to my roundup on the blog, where I always keep it updated as and when I review Max Cushion running shoes. If they're good enough, they make it onto this list. Has this one made it on there? Well, you're just gonna have to go find out. Well, it's time to cast my final verdict. Is the Brooks Glycerin 23 worth $175? Nah, not for me personally. I don't really enjoy this. There are much better Max Cushioned neutral daily trainers out there, for me, that feel lighter and are more tailored towards more of a mid-foot landing sequence. That said, this is a hugely popular running shoe for heavier runners, newer runners, or anyone who just needs maximum comfort and cushioning at the heel. So bear that in mind when you're looking to buy this one. If you know you just want all that cushioning and comfort bias towards the rear of the shoe because you're a heel striker, or a heavier runner who needs a little bit of stability but still wants a neutral running shoe with tons of cushioning, then sure, this has definitely got to be in your short list. But I think for most runners who want a cushioned neutral daily trainer, there are better options, in which case I highly recommend you check out my roundup of the best cushioned neutral daily trainers up there. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this review. Hope it gave you the insights as to whether or not this is going to be your next cushioned daily trainer. If I missed something, drop the question down below in the comments. I reply to everyone. Your comment time will not be wasted. And if you enjoyed the review, but you didn't subscribe before, this is your second chance. Hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next review. Thanks for watching. Peace.